This is fun. First off, I'd like to thank you all for being here tonight. This is a really important night, not just for the club, but for our individual members and all of you attending. It's going to be a really, really good night. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be sharing some personal stuff, so just be wary that there are some triggering things, and if you do need to leave, don't hesitate to just get up and go, because that happens sometimes, and different triggers trigger different people. I'm Christine Hatfield. I am the president of To Write Love on Her Arms here at RVCC. Yeah, we're a mental illness awareness club. We deal with all that kind of fun stuff. We have meetings on Thursdays in room H116 from 1 to 2:20. If anybody would like to join, pop in. We deal with a lot of cool stuff. We have a lot of fun, and we learn about important stuff. All right, well, with that then, I guess we'll just start this. We have poet Sierra DeMulder here, so woo! It's a real treat for her to come out, and you guys are really gonna like her if you haven't already heard of her, because she's absolutely amazing. So, without further ado, let's get the rock rolling. We have two poems that are going to be read by one of our members, Taylor. So, if Taylor, you could come on up here.
Can we make it shorter?
I'll just do that. Can everybody hear me? Yes, okay.
Closer.
This is an anonymous poem, and it's called The Craving Raven. There is a raven, and it's craving me for dinner, and it is no guess why I stay in bed all day. The vines that bind me to my bed sheets kept me awake night and day. For the longest time, I thought I was alone, all along in my mind always, to others and unknown. In my dreams, the more I twist and bend, the more I sophisticate. Am I going insane? Or pretend that nothing happens. I don't know how it started, but there's no more excitement in my life to keep me out of this place, a room with fragrance of ravens, where all I do is count the sheeps until I fall asleep. All I do is dream in my sleep of all the great things I could be. And when I let my guard down, the raven takes me to my town of frowns, takes me to my field of fears, takes me to my lonely place of disgrace. But the more I sleep, in my bed more tired I seem. The only energy I have is to go downstairs, to eat and repeat. While I fight with my sheets in my sleep, I know it is time to end it all. Put this raven down, who is my foe. I'll show this raven his tomorrow, aside a box of matches. Show his future turn to ashes, because it has been seen that I will win, and like I never lost a war or a brawl, stand up mighty and strong. By my side, my family and friends to the end. I will show this raven his tomorrow, show him he's a feeble sparrow. Bury him in my past along with my sorrow, because I'm tired of all of this, a daily routine since the age of 15, an era of no bliss, I just want happiness. And if it ever comes back, I'll be waiting, ready to tame it.
Yeah. Is that on?
Yes.
Okay. Hello.
This is a second anonymous poem. What is life about, when sometimes all you want to do is pout, when it seems like everything is going wrong, and when the days seem extra long? Life is about living, and sometimes it feels better just by giving love to the ones who need it most, giving hope and faith to the ones who feel like giving up, giving friendships to the one who want it, and staying loyal to them. Those are just some of the things you can give, because in the end, you only have one life to live.
All right, next we have Mary.
Hello everyone, I'm going to do a poem called A Lesson in Privilege. It's about a recent experience I had. I recently got pulled over by a policeman. Don't tell my mother, but I was pushing 20 miles per hour over the posted speed limit. 52 and a 35. That's what I was clocked in at, but I'm sure I hit 55. As I see the lights and pull over, I look down and think, Damn. No cleavage. 52 and a 35 means 4 points. 52 and a 35 means I get my provisional license revoked. 52 and a 35 means I can't drive my brother to school in the morning. All things I didn't realize until later. Want to know what I drove away with? A fine and a court appearance. No decals on my provisionally licensed car. April 1st, 5 p.m. April Fools! I joked about it later. The odds were totally in my favor, guys. I'm a young white woman. Here's a lesson in privilege, dears. And here's your cue, my misguided MRAs, to start getting angry. I'm less likely to get a ticket simply because my license says F and I present the same. My poor soul can't handle a negative confrontation. I'm just a silly little girl. Here's your cue, my fellow feminists, to remain angry. I am less likely to get a ticket because I am white. Thank you.
Next up, we have Matt.
Okay, it's worse. All right. So I do a lot of haikus. I think they're fun. They're short, they're sweet, they're to the point. I got one kind of long one. I don't know if I'll have time for that one, but here's two. One's about love. I know it's like the cliche poem of all time. Another one is, I think it's pretty good. So let me start with this one first. Crickets and guitar chirp and strum to a melody. Rose-colored shades define the day. Jazz reads Dali paintings out loud. And this one, all right, so love tainted by greed, subjective symbolism dissolved, lies that killed the soul, a hate that filled the hole. You guys ever just like have somebody that you love so much, but you really, really hate their guts? You know what I'm saying? You can't. I don't know. It's the weirdest feeling in the whole world. And I guess we have like one more. Anybody play video games? Yeah? Yeah! We all like to shoot people, first-person shooters and stuff. It's really fun, very therapeutic. I wrote one about that because, well, you know, one time I lost my license for 6 months, and if you can't drive in Pittstown, you certainly can't find a job, so what else better to do than, like, piss away your time playing video games. 1 buttons, 2 buttons, 3 buttons, 4, bumpers, triggers, and analog sticks. Think the controller is on the fritz. Don't know why, but I'm going to die. Again and again, when it stops, who knows when. Immortal, primordial. Digital genocide on the rave, as some rage. With no time to be kind, there's only one goal in mind. To come out on top, first and never last. Positive, it's a blast.
That was rad. Next we have Christian. Maybe?
Wasn't he just here?
Yeah, I just saw him.
Yeah, he was literally just here.
You left.
Alrighty then. Imran.
I'm leaving. Bye.
Imran.
Oh no, my belt came off. Man. Hey, you. Come up here.
Here we go.
Do you know why? Yeah. You got it?
You gotta raise the mic.
I really lowered it.
Ready, tiny lefty loosey?
No.
Hi guys, I'm Dee. I wasn't announced, but about 10 minutes ago, Imran asked me to sing along with him, and I'm hella nervous, but here you go. You got this.
I want to say something. I wrote this last week when I was in a depressed mood. I actually sat at a bar parking lot when I was started writing this. As most of you know, I am in recovery, so that was very bad for me, but I did anyway. Yeah, so we can start.
Only once the drugs are done, I feel like dying, I feel like dying. Only once the drugs are done, I feel like dying, I
dying. I feel like dying. I feel like dying.
Yeah. People leave, people die. God must want me around because I'm still alive. Always sad without a frown, always screaming without the sound, always crying without the tears. Wanna drink, got no beer. I wanna leave the pain, leave the shame. These thoughts that are driving me insane. If I keep going like this, I might end up overdosing on cocaine or shoot myself in the brain. Then come back and dig myself out of the grave. Wow. So I could see the universe, see if I even made an impact first. Why am I stuck in this curse? Trying to fill the void with sex, drugs, and women. Feelings and emotions that I'm stuck in. When I got sex, I use it. When I got drugs, I abuse it. When I got women, I lose it. Alone in this house, listening to music. Lost in my mind, living in fantasy. Wish I was tripping so I could leave reality. Living in depression and anxiety. Day to day, going through the same routine. Work, school, and recovery is all it seems. My life is stuck on repeat. Can't find a reason to be happy. Putting a knife on my skin just to cope. Staying in the program because I have hope. Faith that one day it might work. These thoughts that are driving me berserk.
Only once the drugs are done, I feel like dying. I feel like dying. Only once the drugs are done, I feel like dying. I feel like dying. I feel like dying. I feel like dying.
Why does it seem the only thing that loves me is a bag of powder? Spent 80 bucks on it, but it only lasted me an hour. Addiction is like a parasite that grows inside you. It goes away for a moment, but always comes back to haunt you. It taunts you, distracts you from school. Anything I do, it won't escape. The disease is forever waiting for me to lose faith, making me think of my real friends are fake, robbing from them so I can get big. Self-destruction is what I do best, slowly killing myself because of my past. Growing up, being bullied for my height. The skin color doesn't help my fight. Surrounded by people but feeling abandoned. Sitting here looking for a companion. Drugs are like a girlfriend to me. I love and miss you, but I have to let you go. Never will be forgotten, that I know. So God, take my will in my life. Guide me through my recovery and show me how to live.
Only once the drugs are done, I feel like dying. I feel like dying. Only once the drugs are done, I feel like dying. I feel like dying. I feel like dying.
Thank you.
That was good. Next we have Karen.
Okay, so I have a structured poem that is similar to Chicken Soup, but I made it into my own words. I am a poet. I am a poet writing of my pain. I am a person living my life of shame. I am your daughter hiding my depression. I am your sister making a good impression. I am your friend acting like I'm fine. I am your wisher, wishing this life was not mine. I am a girl who thinks of suicide. I am a teenager pushing my tears aside. I am a student who doesn't have a clue. I am a girl sitting next to you. I am the one asking you to care. I am your best friend hoping you will be there.
Next up we have Brandon. Amazing.
No Brandon.
All right, it's gonna be a bit late. Rachel. Sorry to drop it on you like that. Woo!
Hi. Okay, I have two because, why not? Alright. Happily ever after is a crock of shit. Don't get me wrong, I wish more than anything to find that one special guy to spend the rest of my life with, but I just don't see the truth in it. Hollywood teaches us from a young age that someday our prince will come. So we wait, and we wait for Prince Charming to whisk us away, and when he doesn't show, we begin to blame ourselves. When maybe we should begin blaming Hollywood for spoon-feeding us this shit from the day we're born. You know, these movies, they create such high expectations for men. So high, in fact, that when the guy we like doesn't act like Mr. Darcy, we write him off as a douchebag and blame the whole male race for being unromantic. These movies teach us it's okay to do drastic things for your love, that it's okay to kill yourself for the guy you love, that if you truly love someone, you'll completely change yourself for them, that if you dress in tight black leather, the bad boy will finally like you, and you'll sing a fucking happy song about it with your graduating class. Maybe you should be teaching kids that it's okay to be alone, to not waste your life looking for someone so you can be happy. Honestly, I feel like the human race would be better off without feelings. If we didn't feel, we wouldn't be killing ourselves in the name of love. There would be no heartbreak, no rejection. I mean, what is love, really? Do we really feel butterflies in our stomach, or is it our brain telling us we should because this guy treats us nicely, or he's incredibly hot? I don't know, maybe I'm just being typical cynical me, or maybe I'm just right. Fourscore and not too long ago, a new generation brought forth us, with a promise to raise and cherish us the way their parents never did. And here we are, in 2015, the kids brought up with peace and love and not the back of the hand. And here we are, deemed too soft, too caring, too loving, when maybe that's not it at all. We're just a generation that's done sweeping everything under the rug. We have troubles, we have addictions, and we have sorrow, but we're not going to stay hush about it. We'll scream it from the highest mountain so everyone can hear, so they know they're not alone in the hardships they face, that we're here too, and we understand, and we'll be by your side every step of the way. We're the generation that won't stop fighting until every gay in America can be married in every state. We're the generation that won't stay down until men and women have equal rights. We're the generation that won't stop until every race is seen as equals. So we're the generation that's a little soft, and we love a little too hard, and we care a little too much, but maybe it's not such a bad thing.
God, I love Rachel. Up next we have Colin.
Everybody hear me? Yeah, man, Slayer, love it. Anyways, can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Good. Cool. All right, so I'm gonna be real with everybody right here. I'm terrified standing right here, and you know, everybody else that's probably come up feels the exact same way. But, yep. So, anyways, I wrote my poem about something that everybody right here can relate to, at least. I don't know, you can relate to it. Bottom line, you can relate to it. So the only thing we have to fear is fear of ourselves. Fear dictates the people we are, the person we can become. With fear, what experiences go unexperienced? Thoughts go unspoken. Relationships never formed. Dreams never lived. There is only one of you in the world. No one else like you. Be the person you are. Live into your name. Show yourself who you can become. Share your potential. Be the amazing person that you are. And say, nevermore to fear.
Next we have Sid.
Hey everyone, my name's Sid. I'm from Rutgers, and I'm going to share a poem called 23. I wrote it back in July, and I'm going to be 23 in 20 days. So. Therapy told me that my eating disorder was complicated, that in order for me to recover, I must discover the deep-rooted issues inside of me. that I must analyze and contemplate every emotion, event, environment, element about myself that ignited my urges to restrict or binge. They said it would bring me closer to extinguishing its control and closer to a full life. It's been 7 years, and I'm still gasping for air. The fires have dimmed, but flickers still remain. My life is anything but full, with all the energy and time spent focusing on recovery, a recovery that has yet to come. Therapy continues to say that my eating disorder is because of complicated, deep-rooted issues. The only thing deep about it is that it became a habit rooted in my brain, a habit engraved since childhood. I don't remember the first time I overate, but I do remember it was more than a decade ago. I was probably sitting in front of the TV watching Spy Kids with my sister Carmen. We used to imagine we were the 2 kids from the movie, acting out every scene like we were following a manuscript line by line. I would always play the brother, and the name of the sister just so happened to be Carmen. A sweet coincidence that lured us into our future destinies, but the decision was always in our control. We became spies and spent our energy on secret missions. I remember back then, I didn't spend my energy on eating in secret. I ate for pleasure, and sometimes maybe I did eat too much, but at least my life was full. Television told me that I wasn't supposed to be full, that the girl that I used to be needed to be empty. At 16 years old, I created a habit of self-destruction. I was trying to mold my strong, athletic 5'9" build to a petite 5'4" frame. I wish I would have learned sooner that my body is not meant for pretty prepackaged boxes. My body is meant for a free life, a life that's full with time and energy. Television continues to say the way I should be, except now it's not so much about being full or empty, it's about what will make me strong or weak, that the man I am to embody needs to be strong. I know now that the only thing that can make me strong is to take back control from the voices that say I am defective. Today, I am grateful to understand why I have continued to experience on my urges to restrict or binge. It's my deep-rooted issue telling me that I am human, beautifully flawed, and that I need to survive. My voice is telling me that my urges are not a defect. They are a sign that I am alive, that I have survived what has been, and now I'm going to thrive on what is to come. Thank you.
That was beautiful. Next we have Spencer. Sorry.
Should I move? Okay.
You could always sit.
One, so I don't mess everybody up.
Ready, Teddy, left me.
Thank you.
Got you.
You can do it! Thank you, come on. Does anybody else feel like when you get called up, it's like you're in the Hunger Games and you're naming I'm just waiting for somebody to go. I did not see all those movies. So recently I got into classical music. I think it's awesome because one, it's inexpensive, it's great. You get way more bang for your buck on iTunes. And two, everybody thinks you're like 10 times smarter when you tell them you listen to Beethoven. So I actually, my knees are shaking, by the way.
Yeah, so am I.
I got you.
Anti-anxiety medicines are a crop. So recently I went to a concert and I had a very interesting experience where I kind of fell in love with the violinist. I don't know her name, but I wrote a poem about it because I thought it was such a weird thing that the human conditions do, that when we make eye contact with somebody and we kind of hold that stare for like, see, I'm going to collapse.
I got you. I'll catch you.
All right, I'm
There's a chair.
6'4".
I got you.
You could always
I'm
sit.
like 160, so it's like, okay.
There's a chair.
Nobody else has sat down, so I can't. Socialization. But we make this eye contact with people, and it could be in the hall, it could be driving down 78, it could be everywhere, and we imagine what our lives would be like, and honestly, it's crazy. I think that a lot of problems we have in this world, whether it's depression, anxiety, drug abuse, all of which I've somewhat struggled with, come from this great unknown that we don't know. As humans, we don't know anything about our lives. The person next to us may be having a huge struggle. We have no idea because we're so good at hiding it. And I think that's crazy. So, I deal with depression. I deal with anxiety. It's not in the shadows anymore. You guys know. So here's my comment. I sunk in the chair waiting for the concert to start. As the minutes passed, I turned my head to the ceiling. I followed the crown molding while it circled the chandelier and fell along the wall to the door. I watched the other patrons file in. Some of them are old and dressed up, others young and fellow students of the orchestra are in jeans. The generational gap that exists between these two sets of patrons isn't lost on me. As a quiet observer of the human condition, I constantly find myself looking and feeling and seeing what other people are living. In school, I could have told you that I was different or I was weird because I was almost always remained silent watching everybody. It's weird how we act. It's weird how we try to put ourselves into these little positions, little sects as jock, gamer, queer, gay, whatever. We try to define ourselves as these words, but we're really not. So as I watch these patrons follow through, as they file through and take their seats, I think of death, I think of all these other things that they represent. I think of the Buddha going along his journey, seeing the three amazing things that are going to happen to us. Death, sickness, suffering. I scan the orchestra floor, watching the students pluck and prod their instruments like the masters of the craft they are. They're from Juilliard, so you know that they are the cream of the crop. You know that they got accepted to one of the best schools in the country, and you are about to enjoy the fruits of their labor, and you're about to enjoy an amazing experience. I look at the program and see one of the celloists is from South Korea. He has a name that I cannot pronounce, nor will I try to, because I would come off as awful. At age 7, he mastered the cello, playing Bach cello suites. If you ever listen to it, it's beautiful. It's probably one of the greatest suites ever for the cello, and he mastered it at 7. I look at the first chair. He's tuning. He's about to leave because he walks in right before the conductor. I look past him at the other violinist. I see her. She's smiling, tuning her violin with a face of utter concentration because she is master of her craft. Because she found her passion early, followed it with the drive and determination that I lost a long time ago. She's smiling, talking to her friend about something I don't even know. I'm too far away to even see the color of her eyes. But I'm already curious. I'm already enchanted by her. As the conductor walks out and takes a bow, I focus back on the concert, trying to take a deep breath and enjoy. But as the piece goes on, the trumpets start playing, and the violins stand ready. Their bows in the air like reeds bending to the force of a river, and then begin. She's playing in perfect tandem with everybody else with a waltz that is beautiful. It's the Dream Waltz. If you ever listen to it, it's weird, because it's modern music, and most modern music is weird. Yep. It comes with chimes, trumpets that are off-key slightly, and at one point the violins actually leave the stage to go and open the door slightly so they can get that particular sound. In college, my other college, I studied music for a bit, and a lot of stuff comes from Italian words, and I don't know what the Italian word is for leaving the stage and opening up the door slightly. I watch as she plucks and prods her instrument. Watch how she plays, and I'm slowly allowing my mind to wander to those fantasies that we all have. Those perfect scenarios we bake up in our minds late at night or on a long drive that we all know that can never happen. If we're honest with ourselves, we know they'll never happen. I think of how she might let me find my passion. How I spend long afternoons reading, watching her practice, mastering music as her face contorts and with the difficulty of each note. The piece goes on and on. As the waltz continues, I think of ourselves in some 18th century formal ball where I'm having coattails and she's wearing a ball gown, circling like the earth and moon, and then it stops. It's intermission time, and I need to pee. I go out, my business, but she's always in the back of my mind. Like a germ, as soon as I return to my seat, plagues my thoughts. The conductor comes out. Calmly, he bows again, very dignified. If you ever go to a concert, you'll notice that they bow a lot. It's a very weird profession. As the piece begins, I read that it's a hero's piece. I think of my life that saving her somehow, but in reality, I'm pretty sure she would have saved me. With somebody with so much passion and drive, how much could they fill in your life? If we're all just running around like atoms in a particle of the universe, which is beautiful and amazing if you think about it, where's love? Are we just running around? It can't be. Concert ends. My parents whispered to me that we have to leave now so we can beat traffic. If I was to protest, I would have to admit to myself that the thoughts that had invaded my head and the fantasy would die. But how could I leave? I would be killing the fantasy with the cold reality, the cold truth, that whatever I was telling myself during the concert was a lie. Before I know it, I'm in the car ride, driving away from the city. The lights are washing over the car. These loves are not real, but they play an incredibly important part in our journey as humans because they tug at you. They tug and wear you down until you're forced to surrender and forced to say, fine, I'll go call that person, I'll go make that move. These thoughts can creep into your head at the weirdest of times. They can do it in class, driving, Tuesday night at a poetry slam. We can be thinking of somebody that we didn't really know how to control over our minds. Then we're forced to surrender and say, fine. That's when the real love begins. Thank you.
That was beautiful. Kyle.
So everyone knows I was not anticipating going yet, so my nerves are a little bit increased right now. So this poem is something that I wrote about 5 years ago, most of it, and I amended and added onto a little bit in the last few weeks. It's a kind of complex poem, so if you have any questions for me about what it means, you can talk to me, ask me later, and I'll be glad to tell you about it. So here it is. Long ago, I was afflicted, had myself tangled and constricted, felt my abilities restricted, most of it was self-inflicted. Always expecting so much of myself, as my mind sits and rots on the shelf, squandered and unused potential, surroundings bleak and detrimental, conditions arisen bring such disdain, shards of nothingness begin to rain. My interest here slowly begins to wane, all creativity is restrained. Examine myself, desperate to see traces of intellectuality. Never can stop without the feeling forming that every second I am conforming, accepting a life devoid of purpose, unfulfilling, empty, without work because I'm unchallenged and seize pretension. My inner emotions unrelenting. I just can't seem to be relaxed, managing to stay intact. Desperate to block these feelings of shame, first something inside me needs to change. The way I look at leisurely actions are as meaningless distractions. For a deeply profound realization, I've accepted an invitation to be content with that occupation, and to be enlightened, find my salvation. Just wasting my time with education, been left in opportunity deprivation. Towards this, I feel nothing but indignation, as I can't ignore the obvious dislocation of myself and my own mental health, and having to surpass everyone else. The challenge of life being reduced, it's the only logical option left to choose. Once some function was restored, the fog cleared and I could not ignore that inside me there was an obvious absence of what brought the slightest satisfaction. But then I found a new home with people in similar situations. I no longer feel the alienation that comes with being outcast and alone. Mental challenges have returned. I no longer need to pressure myself. See, I've always been the way for which I've yearned. I don't compete with anyone else. I have an abundance of confidence in my abilities and intelligence. I can finally rest and escape the bind as I enjoy my peace of mind. The time of turmoil is now long past, and I truly feel fulfilled at last. Thank you.
That was great. Up next is Tyler.
Not gonna lie, I'm like beyond nervous, and I'm used to playing like 3-hour sets behind a drum set, but this like 41 lines is the most nerve-wracking thing I think I've ever done.
We're here for you.
Okay.
Deep breath.
Your calloused invention bleeds across the sky. Now can't you see all the pain in its eyes? Your calloused invention screams in the night. It begs and it pleads as you starve it all the time. It was all alone until it ran into you. Fascinated, it chased after you. You looked back, there it was, like a long-lost pup. You took it in and fell deep in love. You altered it, made it fit you, denied it of itself. It stayed true to you and no one else. You began to wander, leave it to itself, disposing all the love and trust, forcing your creation to lose itself. Your calloused invention bleeds across the sky. Now can't you see all the pain in its eyes? Your calloused invention screams in the night. It begs and it pleads as you starve it all the time. Now silence plagues its inability to cope. You deny speech to self-heal. It's torn within as you bleed its brain dry. Its heart shrivels and bends as it lives a walking nightmare. It can't let go. Your calloused invention explodes as you leave, screaming in silence as it unwillingly breaks apart.
Next we have Emily.
Got this. Alright. Hello. Okay, my poem starts with a quote. When the pain is great enough, we will let anyone be doctor. Try to put in stitches with an unsteady hand. Cut the string with strong yellow teeth. Or alone, we plug up the holes, tape on gauze so our self does not seep out. We can't survive without that extra pressure from a stranger with a familiar cologne. That wholesome smile and docile tone eases me as you take my trust, right from underneath my feet. But your icy touch reassures me. You're a professional. You've done this 1,000,000 times before. Without a degree or years of training, you cut me open, read my organs, and test my blood. And I give you help, undress myself, and lie still for you. The volume kicks in. Wow, what a doctor you are. Numbness feels so good. Grateful for my doctor who extracted the pain, cut it out, plugged it up, examined me, in and out. Whoever said you don't know what you were doing was wrong. You hold my hand with your gloved one, my feet a half-inch off the earth. I twist my ankle on the way back down, like gravity was turned back on. My sutures fray, my gauze are satiated, the crystal clear sky blurs. My hand is empty, my numbness worn off, my doctor gone missing, my emptiness returned. I give myself the shot this time. and take myself away.
All right, next we have Lauren.
Okay, so yeah, pretty much like everybody else who's already gone up, I am terrified and shaking and I might pass out. Just make sure I don't land on my head. And because I'm also a master of forethought, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna write down what I have on like receipts. So I have like a bank out in quick check, and that's both of them are really impressive. But anyway, the first one is about, because we all kind of know that Aloha is about awareness and drawing attention to the things that need attention. So the first one, something personal, and the second is something hopefully a little lighter. So, I'm alone, an unthreaded, untethered needle floating through time and saline space. When I breathe, if I speak, if I surrender, my complete and utter lack of control over the circularity of a sewer drain or the currency of tidal pools. I become a nothing, a void defined by a lack of being. It is not the subtlety sunken into my cheeks. It is not the ever-growing space between my thighs. It is not the six-legged creature jointed by my rib cage. It is not the spine serpent spiraling up my back. Nor is it the cacophonous decay of the enamel on my molars. I am a white space with a black square opening in the middle of it, a prism, a prison. It is immutable and transient. Yet, I am so many things. I have become so many things that it is folly to take me for anything other than what I am. A projector screen, a paperweight, the image of an infant's curled fingers, flecks of nail no larger than holly berries, or the fetal blossoms of periwinkle on a scraggly lavender bush. A loaded die. I am not confined by my statistics or by a set of diagnostic criteria. I am not my depression. I am not my bipolar. I am not my anorexia. I am none of that. I am my own person, and I will swim. Okay, yeah, sorry, I'm even more freaked out now. My second one is about someone actually that I did meet through treatment, and she's very dear to me. So, her tongue is a label maker, adhesive tape in Times New Romans, swirling out into empty cork casks. She folds minuscule boxes out of paper and blows her words out like cheap secondhand tires on Interstate 95, somewhere between here and Maryland and Ohio and Pennsylvania and Utah and any other number of places where either of us might have been at one point or another. She speaks the nomenclature of objects and ideals in her own expansive existence. In her letter, she said, I call it the firework effect, the pyrotechnic phenomenon. Her minuscule handwriting cramps across the page, whisper sweet. In my own scrawl, by comparison, that's graceless, without regard for lines or ledgered pasts, and of every goddamn creature she encounters, and occasionally mine as well, and even more seldom now, the lifelines on our palms intersect. When our hands face one another, she is a celestial body, and I am an astral plane, and we touch in so many places. I can no longer tell who is who, when is when, or what we are. That is why her tongue is a label maker, sweet adhesive in Times New Roman.
She kills me, really. Next we have Angelique.
She's my best friend, you guys. Okay, so this is, I'm really short. This is kind of a work in progress. So, yeah. A list of things my mother should have taught me. 1. When you switch schools in the 4th grade, do not think that bangs will make the kids like you. They will know that you don't belong. Bangs won't hide your middle-class family background. Bangs won't hide your too big skirt. Bangs won't hide your knobby knees. 2. When the boy with the crystal eyes hands you the tiny origami ninja star, do not take that star and put it in your pocket. Throw it on the ground. Better yet, burn it. Look him dead in the eye when he tries to touch you. Do not be afraid of him. You are an inferno, and not even the ice in his eyes can put you out. 3. When you duck your head in the hallways, know that no one notices you. No one is staring at you. No one is laughing at you. No one is calling you ugly. No one is calling you small. You are a ghost, and none of them even feel your chill. 4. Ooh, hello, knees. When the boy with the blue hair coils those strands into your skin, rip them out. Let him kiss your bruised knuckles. Let him trace his fingers along your collarbone, but do not let him grow his garden inside your bones. Don't take his words into your heart. Don't take his promises as law. You are his queen, but he is not your God. When you can't figure out who you are anymore, 5. When you cannot figure out who you are anymore, stop telling yourself you have to be one person. You are more than one person. You don't live enough lives not to live as every single square inch of your personality. 6. I don't know what number that is. When you look in the mirror and you don't see yourself in it, hold that girl's hand and tell her that she is okay. Wrap yourself around her legs and sleep at her feet. Tell her that she is everything she is supposed to be. Tell her that she is the first draft of every novel you've ever read. Tell her that she will never be a Shakespeare play or a Ray Bradbury novel. Tell her that they will never read her books in classrooms for literary dissection, but that someone will hold all of her, every page, every chapter, and every book in her series, and they will love every letter more than the last. Tell her that that person is you. Tell her you love her.
I love all of you. Really, I do. Oh, thanks. Oh, that's nice. Next, we have Christian. No. Oh, yeah. Hey.
Yeah! Woo! Get it!
How you guys doing? I wrote this like right before this, so I didn't have it memorized. So I'm gonna read it. In this moment, the thought of greatness, I own it. Knowledge in excess, I access a sentence in a second. Securely and surely, I'll provide proof that my work is worthy. A volcano vocabulary, this image allegedly intelligent, intellect electricity, through imagery. Legendary, really this reality isn't imaginary. 1,000-word story of going past glory to glory. Verse mercenary against the variety of adversaries, no mercy. My mission, even if no one will miss him, crates of creation, someday someone will listen. Recite my reason, attend the presence by giving attention to my intention. Obsession for operating the session, defined by goals that rewind all the time. Remind my veins that my mind is a gold mine. Plans to plant landmines on a land of mine. Climb until my fingers burn on the sun that shines. Ali in his prime, the rhythm and rhyme designed. Go beyond after confirmed coffin confined. Conscious confide. Paranoid like Jaws is under the surface of every tide. Not everybody embodies the sense of being decent inside. To me, that's a sign of weakness. I'd rather deliver a speech and leave them speechless. Words assembled, poetry resembles this. Whew.
Okay, next we have Brandon.
Check, check. Hi. Hi, everyone. How's it going? I have a poem about numbers and how significant they are to us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, 121, 122, 123, 124, 125, 126, 127, 128, 129, 30, 131, 132, 133, 134, 135, 136, 137, 138, 139, 140, 141, 142, 143, 144, 145, 146, 147, 148, 149, 150, 151, 152, 153, 154, 155, 156, 157, 158, 159, 160, 161, 162, 163, 164, 165, 166, 167, 168, 169, 170, 171, 172, 173, 174, 175, 176, 178, 179, 180, 181, 182, 183, 184, 185, 186, 187, 188, 189, 190, 191, 192, 193, 184, 195, 196, 197, 198, 199, 200. 201, 202, 203, 204, 205, 206, 207, 208, 209, 210, 211, 212, 213, 214, 215, 216, 217, 218, 219, 220, 221, 222, 223, 224, 225, 226, 227, 228, 229, 230, 231, 232, 233, 234, 235, 236, 237, 238, 239, 240, 241, 242, 243, 244, 245, 246, 247, 248, 249, 250, 251, 252, 253, 254, 255, 257, 6, 257, 258, 259, 260, 261, 262, 263, 264, 265, 267, 268, 269, 270, 271, 272, 273, 274, 275, 276, 278.
Does it change?
Yes, numbers change while they go higher. 279, 280, 281, 283, 284, 285, 286, 287, 288, 289, 290. 291, 292, 293, 294. The page is almost finished. 294, 295, 296, 297, 298, 299, 300. That's it for the paper. 201, 202, 203, 204, 205, 206, 207, 208, 209, 210. Happy birthday.
Good one.
Brilliant.
Brilliant, really.
Absolutely brilliant.
Beautiful. That was a wild ride from start to finish. But I'm horrible. Okay. Up next is me. Here I write them. Hi guys. I just wanted to preface this with a quote I found on Tumblr the other day. I'm not really good at talking. I'm good at talking, but it scares me, and I make jokes because I can't talk about my emotions. Look at that. So here's a little shindig from Tumblr. It's really short, but I like it. It goes like this. And you make jokes because you're afraid to take anything seriously, because if you take them seriously, they matter. Ow! And now to something completely different. Lately, I've been having terrible anxiety. So I wrote this one night at 3 o'clock in the morning. I didn't go to sleep till 5, but that's not the point. It's called Anxious Insomnia. Tick tock, tick tock. The alarm is set. Is it? Better check. Is my car in park? Are the lights off? Are they? Better check. Tick tock, tick tock. I hear planes above. I hear the footsteps down the hall. Tick tock, tick tock. My heart is jumping. I can feel my blood incinerating below my skin. Tick tock, tick tock. The plane is getting closer. Did I finish my homework? Is the garage door locked? The footsteps are getting considerably closer. Tick tock, tick tock. The plane is coming in for a landing. The footsteps are heavier than my heartbeat. Tick tock, tick tock. But the plane will crush my thighs, and the footsteps just want the money. Calm down. Settle down, pipe down, pipe down. And recently, I kind of drawn myself into a relationship gag. So I wrote a poem. It's a love poem. It's kind of disgusting. It makes me sick. But I'm gonna read it because this guy makes me happy. And even though he couldn't be here tonight, it's okay. It's called Worthy. It's gonna be mushy and it's disgusting and I hate it. My dear, I do not deserve you. My dear, you are the hero that rushes into the burning building. You are the brightest, most wished upon star on every dark, degrading night. I am the rabbit wanted for its foot, as though the soul is of no value. I am the brutal bee sting on the sunniest summer day. My dear, you do not need my storm. The thunder will cause the building to collapse. The acid clouds will scorch your sky. My dear, I am not worthy of your time. Thank you. And last we have Danny.
Maybe we don't.
Danny Del Rosario? Yeah, Danny Del Rosario. Yeah?
Oh, they're so perfect. I'm short, so just 5'1". It's being short is the struggle's just so real. Okay. So before I start off, I was gonna read something else, but apparently I changed my mind. I wanted to connect with the audience. I wanted something personal and something that they can relate to. And if it can't relate to you, let it speak to you, okay? Woo! Yeah. So the title is to Mama Dukes with love. A lover and a fighter. A motto he said he lived by. He came to my life when he shouldn't have, but I was too in love with the idea of being in love. Being young and reckless got the best of me, and also to those who were dear to me. You get my drift? Because no matter how I've been pinned down, I kept fighting a battle I wasn't going to win. All Mama Dukes could do was have them tears flow and let me be as I please. The way she did it was the best way. She was allowing me to make my own mess out of my life, giving me free room to make all the mistakes I wanted. Like a horse with blinders, I shut out the evidences made against him. But I had ideas of my own. I went along with my heart, subtracting the mind. With me, I carried the can't tell me nothing attitude. For him, I was his toy, something he played with, real good. Dress-up games wasn't the only thing I partook at. I was made into a prototype Barbie, a puppet in strings in order to live up to how he wanted to sculpt me. I don't get around much. Maybe that's why he dreamed me up into something I was not. Conversations turned into heated arguments because apparently the source of discordance is me. He's right and I'm wrong. He's truth and I'm a lie. He's a champion and I'm an underdog. He's the opposite of Corinthians' love. He recorded my wrongs and I begged for his forgiveness one too many times. I was on his team, but he made me his rival. I wasn't made to belong from the start. He's too quick to box me in, and I needed a team who will support me all the way through and believe with me as much as I believe in them. Come to think of it, he never had my back. It's all BS. We never left the ring. We were in it 24/7, him versus me. But I stayed on that ring with him. Why I put up with his abuse? Especially when he told me, I seen your body when you posted that eyes challenge. Trust me, I've seen much better. The only thing about you that you can pat yourself on the back is your hair. It's beautiful, long, and you take great care of it. But girl, anything else, you need serious work done. Mama Dukes, how I cried. Love suddenly became foreign to me. Yet he knew his opponent was weak. So I stayed on. Suddenly, a blessing in disguise lifted the scales from my eyes. Just when I thought I was dirty, he was far dirtier. Everything that was said had been a lie. He made himself larger than life. Because this man I was a slave to had a wifey who isn't far long overdue. It was open season for him to prey on God knows how many other vulnerable females. Oh, he played his cards right. Now everything Mama Dukes accused him of were living proof. He was no king, but a mere joker. Guess what? The joke's on him. Because the stones with which he threw at me, I used to rebuild the temple he jabbed with curses, uprooting the roots of my spirit. Therefore, out of the blue, I tapped into my resiliency, gathering all my strength, and jumped him with this. Either keep it 100 or stay 100 feet away from me. As I roughened him up, it was my turn to whoop his with this. I am made of sun rays, tidal waves, mayhem of firecrackers. You think you can tame me? I am the girl who plays with fire, and trust me, I play it well. So next time you try to control me, darling, make no mistake, I will burst out and ravage you in flames. No good will come out of this relationship. So just when he called for another round, I didn't bail out. I jumped ship from this toxic relationship. Trust me, babe, I don't need a ride or die. I'd rather take a hike. I don't need your honor and neither your approval. I know my value. I'm letting that be known. To Mama Dukes, with love.
All right, how's everybody doing? You doing good? Good stuff, good stuff. All right, now we're gonna welcome Sierra DeMulder up to the microphone. Give her a warm welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. Like she said, my name is Sierra DeMulder. I am internationally touring performance poet, and I'm gonna just I'm gonna explain that little thing right over there later. But yeah, how about we give a round of applause to everybody who performed? And then I also to the performers, I want you to promise me one thing. I want you to promise me to stop apologizing for your writing and stop lessening yourself. Everybody, I want to also acknowledge that everybody comes up and feels so small and acknowledges that they're nervous, but you did it. You made it. You did the poem, and everybody loved you. So way to go. Way to be awesome. And please don't apologize for your writing. It was beautiful. All right. Amen. Dear you, whoever you are, however you got here, this is exactly where you are supposed to be. This moment has waited its whole life for you, who have felt more numb than holy, more cracked than mosaic, who have known the tiles of a bathroom by heart, who have forgotten what makes you worth it, you, the forgiven, the forgiver, who belongs right here in this moment, you, this clump of cells, this happy explosion that happened to start breathing by the grace of whatever is up there. You got here, you made it this whole way, through the nights that swallowed you whole, the mornings that arrived in pieces, the scabs, the gravel, the doubt, the hurt, the hurt, the hurt is over today. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I'm going to do a set. I don't know if that was prefaced to you. I'm going to do more than two. So I'm going to do a handful of spoken word poems, and I'm going to do a couple shorter poems too. And I always say that there's like this strange cultural experience that happens when somebody during a slam set reads a page poem, because the audience, you don't know when I'm done. You're like this. Oh, is she not? Oh, she's done. Okay. You know, it's like an awkward community experience. So when I'm done, you can do whatever you want. You can snap, you can clap, you can make an animal noise if you want. I'll keep going. Okay, deal? Yeah. So a lot of my poems in my set are centered around mental health and wellness, and I wrote this for a wellness conference last fall. They ask me how I am, and I say, well, a well I have been digging for years, a well into which I have fallen and am always fallen, a well in which I both bathe and drown in. My mind is a well. My mind is a well that goes all the way down. My mind is underwater, underwell. Well, no, today it's just fine. They ask me to write a poem about mental illness, and I say, well. They ask me how I am, and I say, thanks. See, you don't know. You're like, good. How many people here are in love? Loveless city. So a couple middle fingers. That's good. That's great. That applies. How many people here have a crush on someone?
I have a crush on myself. I married myself.
Good. How many people here have ever felt any emotion ever? Yeah! Wow. Good, I'm glad we have something in common, you people. I don't know. That's okay. That's okay. How many people here have ever had unrequited love or been in love with someone who was in love with someone else?
Yo.
Yo, girlfriend, that sucks. I was in love with one of my best friends for over 3 years, and I like to say all I got was this stupid poem. Not bitter, not even a t-shirt. I'll tell you a funny story about it later that will make up for me being so sad. All right, this is on watching someone you love somebody else. It sucks. No, just kidding, that's not the poem. You will be out with friends when the news of her existence is accidentally spilled all over your bar stool. In the morning, her name will be in every headline. Car crash, robbery, flood. When he calls you, ignore the hundreds of ropes untangling themselves in your stomach. That poem's on YouTube, which is funny in itself. And my favorite thing on the internet is there's a comment that says, "But really, who owns a VCR anymore?" And then my second favorite thing on the internet is a response comment that says, "I think it's a metaphor for living in the past." No, that's real. It's the only way I can watch Jurassic Park. Also, that guy and I, we're still friends, and he lives in Los Angeles with the same woman. Just kidding. I'm totally over it. And one day I went to Los Angeles to do a show, and we're friends. He's seen the poem. We've talked about it like adults. Ugh. And I go to a show, and he comes with me, and I'm like, "Sorry, bruh, I'm gonna do that poem about you." And he's like, "That's okay." That's how we talk in my head. And so I do the show, and it goes really well. And then I'm pacing in like the, I don't know, lobby area before I go back to sit with him, who we will call Bob. That's not his name, but I go back to sit with Bob to watch the rest of the show, and before that, I'm like pacing, trying to calm down, and some stranger comes up to me and says, "Great job, I really liked your set." And I said, "Oh, thank you so much." And he said, "I really liked your unrequited love poem." And for some reason I go, "He's here, he's in the audience right now." Or whatever. And the guy's like, "Okay." And so I go and watch the rest of the show with Bob, and Bob and I are leaving together, and we're walking out the door, and the stranger comes up to Bob and goes, "You that dude?" And Bob goes, "Yeah." And that dude goes, "You effed up," and then walked away. So that's totally worth 3 years of agony. Thank you. Thank you. That's one of my older pieces, and I still do it. And 2 weeks ago, I think, I did it in a show in a high school in St. Louis. And I always get like, oh no, it was in Chicago. And this young dapper gentleman like waited through the line to talk to me, and at the very end, like right before I had to perform, he was like, "I have a challenge for you." He's like, I don't know, 16. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, "My challenge is that you write a poem from the perspective of a man." And I was like, "Oh, thanks, you progressive little bastard, you." Okay. And so my first response was like, well, I have. Often, actually, but I had to perform, so I couldn't really engage him in a dialogue. But what I wish I said was, what makes you think that women's stories or non-binary stories are not part of the universal story. And we know that sexual violence crosses genders, crosses economic statuses. I mean, everything. It happens everywhere you think it doesn't. But I articulated this to the next high school. If you think that that poem isn't for you, then awesome. Then you live in a world in which you don't think you're going to be sexually assaulted. And doesn't that sound awesome? Great, cool. It is for you, though, because awesome, it's not going to happen to you. You better not do it to anyone else, and you better believe the person who tells you that it happens to, and also make them feel safe and supported. That's my spiel. That sound okay? Yeah? Okay. I kind of don't get it when people are like, why don't you write about men's issues? And I'm like, oh, you don't get it. Anyway, I'm sorry. If not, just come and say hi. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the organizers. Thank you to Write Love on Her Arms organization here. You guys do awesome work. You create communities and dialogues about mental illness and debunking the stigmas around all of that. So I really commend all of that work that you do. All right. Thank you so much, folks. Have an excellent night.
Isn't she a gem? Like, holy crap. I felt more in that last hour than I have felt in a while. Holy crap. Another big round of applause for Sierra. Sarah, if you want to come on up here. Get on up here. Got you flowers. Oh, and a card.
Thanks so much!
We like you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks for everybody. Thanks to everybody who shared their work. It was an absolutely amazing night to see, what other people deal with on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. Cool. Rad. This is so rad. What? Also, Ben has been recording this, so he says it's going to go up on YouTube unless you don't want it to. So if you don't want it to, let him know.
And she also said if you took videos, link to hers, don't put yours up.
Yeah.
Because don't put videos of her up unless it's only a couple seconds, because she performs it all over and doesn't want them up there.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
can link it.
It's already on YouTube. I'm like on YouTube all over. I don't need to be more there.
Yeah, for just a couple seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, thanks again for coming out tonight. It's been a really great night. Thank you again. It really means a lot that so many of you care about this organization, the people around you. It's true, you don't really know what people next to you are struggling with. So talk amongst yourselves, enjoy food. There's still food and coffee and tea, so thanks again for coming out tonight. Drive safe.